Mother,
Hello, and welcome to this, and this is a Q&A. Yes, I am doing another one fairly quick here. The reason why the other one I didn't do one sooner is, folks, I need better questions. Come on, I need some good questions here. You know, I'm getting a lot of questions, but some of them aren't, or a lot of things I answer over and over and over again, and things I answer on a lot of other videos that have nothing to do with the Q&A. So, come on, let's get some good questions going here, because the better the questions, the better the Q&A is, so it all works out. Okay? Okay. And remember, keep it to one question. Try to keep it as short as humanly possible. I do know that some questions, are somewhat involved, and so they do take a little longer, but try to keep them fairly simple so that it's not a question that's going to take up a whole video. So, there we go. Let's get started here. This is a Q&A question. Do you think ROH could be as popular as AEW or TNA without a TV deal? Not without a TV deal. You have to have a TV deal. Part of being a good promotion, and a very good promotion, and being a popular promotion, is having a TV deal. I understand it's just part of the deal, because with a TV deal you can then advertise better for the house shows. You get better house show revenue. Better house show revenue leads to much other things, because that's where you make most of your money. So, and there's no way they're going to be able to get their word out just on DVD sales alone. They're going to have a TV deal of some sort. Even if they had a streaming TV like show on the internet, I think they would be more popular from it. But you definitely have to have a TV show where more people are able to watch your product for you to be as popular as TNA or WWE. So there you go. And here's my question: what's your opinion on TNA bringing back the World X Cup? I have to hear some more about it. I like the concept behind the World X Cup. I never liked the idea of it as far as teams and that sort of thing. I would much rather be it more of a junior tournament, or more of just a tournament. Hopefully they bring in people that aren't just juniors, though. Hopefully they bring in a wide variety of talent, and guys who actually, some Samoa Joe type guys, just a good wide variety of talent to really show what the X Division is supposed to be, and not just a junior belt. So there is that, but I am looking forward to it if they do bring in some New Japan talent. I'd love for them to bring in Liger, love for them to bring back Tiger Mask. There's numerous guys from New Japan I would love for them to be able to bring in. They also have their deal with All Japan, and there's some guys I'd love to see them bring in from All Japan. Tajiri, anybody? I would love for them to bring in Tajiri. There's a whole mess of guys. Of course, they do try to bring in guys from around the world, so there's some European guys. I'd love them to really just spend the money and actually bring in some guys that might get the internet fans a little more excited and get a buzz going about TNA, because I think that is something they greatly, greatly need, is a buzz. Because you get a buzz going about something, then people start turning in. It's not an overnight thing. I mean, it does take a while. With buzz, you're usually talking about 6 months. You go back and look at the WWF versus WCW, the Monday Night Wars. It took a while for the WWE, once they were the better show, which they were for a very long time before they ever won in the ratings, to actually win in the ratings, for that to show. They were getting better house show numbers. Everything else was gaining momentum, and the ratings finally started to show that they were the better show. But it did take a while. It took about anywhere between 10 and 9 months, depending on how you want to look for that to actually show. So there you go. What are your thoughts on the ECW brand right now? Even though I'm a hardcore old ECW fan, I have to say it's not bad. It's enjoyable with guys like CM Punk and Shelton Benjamin and Elijah Burke. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on the brand as a whole. I think it's getting better. It's kind of funny that the show is starting to look like, and I'm not saying that they took my ideas, I'm just saying that I do think it's kind of funny that it's starting to look more of what my vision of ECW was. There's still some guys on there I don't think should be on there. There's still some guys on there that aren't on there that I think need to be on there. But I think as a whole, I think it is becoming more of what I envisioned it, which is younger talent geared more towards the internet fan or the smart fan. And I think ultimately, I think that's where it's going to go. So I have hopes. hopefully there we go. Hey Truthslayer, are there any Japanese promotions you recommend? Yes, there are. New Japan. Currently, right now, they have had about 4 shows that I have seen that are actually good and worthy of recommendation. So as of right now, I would say New Japan. I know a lot of people thought that last year over a whole was very good for New Japan. I didn't really feel that way. I felt they had some good matches, but it wasn't anything sustained. Of course, Noah. I always recommend also Dragon Gate. And then I would say also check out some of the other promotions as well. But those are the big 3. I can't really recommend All Japan because All Japan is just kind of there. So there you go. Hey Truthslayer, what made the ROH CZW feud work? Was it the matches, the promos, all of the above? People say it was 1,000 times better than the Invasion of 2001. You agree? I agree wholeheartedly. This was far better. This was not only what the Invasion angle should have been, but also what the NWO angle should have been, to be completely honest, on a more microcosm scale. The reason why it worked was because you had fans of CZW, you had hardcore, diehard fans of hardcore wrestling who the Ring of Honor fans didn't necessarily like to an extent, particularly the CZW fans who people thought were overly hardcore. And then you had those fans really didn't respect the Ring of Honor fans because the Ring of Honor fans didn't respect them. And so the fans were into it. There was legitimate, kind of heat between some of the wrestlers. You had lots of stuff going into it, and you had give and take on both sides to where it looked like it was even. Ring of Honor, of course, came out on top, as it probably should have, because it was at that time the bigger promotion. But both organizations came out, better, I think, than they did going in, and I think that's the thing that didn't work for the NWO, because by the time, the NWO was getting ready to run its course, WCW looked very weak because the NWO had just come in and taken over, and they hadn't pushed a lot of the WCW mainstays. So there you go. What do you think about Harry Smith, and do you think he has the potential to follow in his father's footsteps? I think he's very good. I don't think he's going to be very good if he stays on Raw, to be completely honest. I think he needs to be on ECW. But everything I've ever seen of him, he is pretty good in the ring. So there you go. Hey, Truthslayer, it looks as if Tanahashi may be heading to All Japan this year since he hasn't renewed his deal with New Japan, and Muto's been calling. Do you think Tanahashi's move to All Japan would adversely affect Japanese wrestling? Yes. Yes, I do, because All Japan is not where it once was, not even close. I think that if he didn't want to stay in New Japan, I don't know how it all works because I don't follow that side of Japanese wrestling, and I'm sure there's people on here that can explain it far better than me, but I would imagine probably because of how the structure is in Noah that he wouldn't want to go to Noah, but that would be the only move I could see that would help Japanese wrestling, because if he goes to All Japan, he's just going to go to a smaller organization. It would kind of be like a guy during Attitude Era, a upper tier guy of one of the 2 promotions going to ECW at the time. All right, where it is a step backwards to an extent. Particularly, I don't think it's going to help Japanese wrestling that much. I might be wrong. I could be completely wrong on that, but I don't see where it would help. I don't see where it would benefit him much either, but that's my opinion of it. Don't you agree that there is less feuds, which in all takes away from the overall success of wrestling today? Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that there needs to be more diehard, feuds where guys legitimately don't like each other, and they always don't like each other, like for years. And when you see one guy in the ring with another guy, you know that there's something is going to happen. That Hogan Piper type of rivalry where it's always all kind of like that. Do you think suspense during matches is almost as important, if not more important, than the actual wrestling? I've seen many matches that were very good in terms of wrestling, but the crowd wasn't very into it because they felt it was too predictable. But on the other hand, there have been matches that weren't too great in the ring. The crowd was very into it because they had no idea who would win. I completely agree with that. I think suspense, also storytelling, telling the story is very much important. All goes into making a good match. And when it's predictable or the story is somewhat predictable, it does very, very much hurt the match. That's all. Have a good one.